You want to build it? Stay tuned to find out how.
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
Hey everybody, Samurai Jedi here, bringing you finally the Graflex do-it-yourself tutorial. So what you're about to watch is how to make this right here. This is the Empire Strikes Back version. That's why you see these style buttons. But essentially, you can build this yourself. I would say this is fairly close to movie accurate. It's a lot more closer. I call this my Graflex 3.0 since this is my third version. So I hope you enjoy. One thing that I ask you guys, if you guys do enjoy the tutorial, please like and share it. That means the world to me, to hear your guys' positive comments. Also, Patreon. If you guys want to support my cause, please visit my Patreon page. It's definitely much appreciated. I definitely appreciate the supporters I have right now. I want to thank you guys very, very much. Also, real quick, just wanted to take a moment to talk about this stand right here. This stand is a Marcotte stand, and for those of you that are interested in this, this is custom made, and you can go to marcottecreations@gmail.com. I'll have the link below. So enjoy, guys. Okay guys, so one of the steps is going to be the main body of the hilt, and of course it's a big step. As you can see, I've got just a regular small hacksaw. You're also going to want to get your big one. Obviously I don't want to sit there and spend a bunch of time showing me actually hacksaw something, so I'm going to explain it to you and then we're going to do it. So as you can see here, I've got a template on my body. Alright, so this is my 1.5 inch pipe, and what I did is I measured from the end to the tip 10 3/4. Okay, that's the Graflex 3-cell measurement from end to tail, or tip to tail, however you want to look at it, is 10 3/4. Okay, so now you can see on the template, it's not a perfect cut. You don't have to be. You just want to get in the ballpark, and then you're going to file and smooth everything in that shape. So you can see here, here's my Graflex template, which I found online, printed out in a 5x7, wrapped it around and taped it. Okay, so we can go ahead, and I'm going to make, what I'm going to do is, you can't just cut this. If you have a router, or I'm sorry, not a router, but a Dremel with a cutoff wheel, you probably could go ahead and do all this. But I'm going to be doing the hacksaw method. I'm going to use the big hacksaw, and I'm going to first give me a cut, probably straight down, then I'll cut a little bit on an angle, and I'll probably make small little cuts, and then until I get where I can file. I don't want to overcut, but I'm going to work on it with this little hacksaw to give me some shape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to begin the cut process, and we'll go from there. Okay, so you can see this is where I just made my rough cuts. You can see here I tore up my template a little bit, so most likely I'm gonna have to go ahead and put a new template on there, and I got to be really careful. I got to make sure I get this back on there, which pretty much I got right to the tip. So lengthwise, as long as I get that template back on to the end here, it should fall into place. But you can see here I got it close. Now one thing to be careful of is, I think a couple times my saw jumped and even went through. Now some of that will be filed down, but there is some scratch marks in the final area. So I'll probably buff that out, or just a little bit, but I'll probably hit it up with a little bit of silver spray paint, and even with the chrome, like just to knock down that brass color. And then I think it'll look all right. It'll look a little aged, maybe a few scratches. Again, I usually like to have things that are looking a little aged anyways. But there you have it. That's that first rough cut. I know it doesn't look like much, but that's, you know, with the handsaw. And then this is where the file work, where you're going to take your half round file and any other files that'll work for you, and start filing away. It's going to take some time, but you're going to have to work it, and this is the part where you're going to want to make it look awesome. Okay, I'm back after filing some. You can see here I actually had to put another template on. So be careful when you put a new template on. You want to make sure everything lines up. With my templates on there, you can see I've got a little more filing to go, but overall I got the basic shape and it's just about there. Okay, and again, a lot of it's going to be with a half round file. Okay, you can see where it's flat and then it's a half round. All right, well, I'm going to work on get some more filing done, and hopefully we'll get that Graflex emitter shape. Okay, now that I've also done some more filing, you can see here I've got the Graflex curve pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do 3 pilot holes. I'm going to do one right here, one for the bunny ears right in the middle of the H, and then one right here where the button's going to go. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple pilot holes just to get things going. And that way, again, you want to be very careful because this is going to be very easy to bend or break, so just be very careful when drilling your holes. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about is these holes here. When you start out doing your pilot holes, okay, you're going to use something similar to this, okay, small bit, and you can see I've got different step bits. All right, so that way my next one I'm going to drill the hole with this one, then this one, and then this one, because you don't want to screw up your project. I mean, you know, filing these curves and doing all this work, the last thing you want to do is try to start out drilling with a big bit and then just screw up your metal. It rips it or tears it or breaks it. So do your step drilling. So you can see I did some pilot holes. I need to widen this one out, button out, and this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so once you get your holes wallered out, now these I took up to a half. So I know you can't tell right now, but this is going to be where my charging pins are. Pretty excited. My button, of course, bunny ears, and that's going to stay like that. My bottom button, I'm not doing the glass eye. I'm going to do the 2-button version, just because. And of course, this is going to be my buttons. At least I hope so. They got that grooved look. I think they'll look good. You can see here, for example, just kind of trying to do this one-handed on when I got the camera on. But you can see here, you're going to have the one button toward the bottom. You're going to have the one up top. So you can see here how it's already looking. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited. So yeah, that's a little bit of what you want to do. Wallow out those holes. Make sure, like I said, make sure you step the holes with your different bits. Step them, you know, up to the biggest one, and then make sure. Now the 1/2 inch, like I said, that's the big boy. So I had to do a big one for that one, but I really needed to have that brass pin window. Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about grips. Okay, now there's 6 grips, and you can see here I wrapped graph paper around my hilt, and you see my marks. All right, so what I did is, when you wrap graph paper around here, okay, you can see, when I wrapped graph paper around here, every 4 squares I put a mark. Now my paper probably is a little off just because I'm showing you, but I wanted to show you how to mark your grips. You can see the black dots. See the black dots? So they came out nice and even. Alright, so now I'll grab my grips and I'm going to put them on there. Now I don't really necessarily have to mark this side of the grips. I just go ahead and line them up, and I use the straight reflections. I kind of eyeball it for the straightness of them. So I know that sounds bad, but it's a good technique. I mean, at least if you get it straight on there, like I said, you can lay your grips right on there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get the grips on. Okay, so you can see here I got my grips on there, which looks awesome. And I love it because when you get the grips on, it just really starts to come together. I mean, you can really start to see that thing. So now you're going to see your little holes. See your little holes right down here? Alright, that's where your screws, which come with your grips, alright, they're designed to look almost like rivets, like I said, like the originals. So you're going to take your pilot bit, the same as your riveting hole for your rivets, and you're going to carefully drill each one. Now these also come with little nuts, and I'll show you what I do for those after this. Okay, so you can see I already got one started there. You can see here, there's the nut. So once you start getting this started, get yourself just a little torque bit like this. Okay, so once you start getting it started, you just take your finger, you're going to put that nut on there, you'll go on the inside, and then you'll take your other hand when it's not filming, and you'll take that torque bit and you'll just go ahead and screw it, start screwing it, and then you'll feel it thread on there. And then once you get that threaded on there, just tighten it down, and then I'm going to show you a trick once I do all that. Okay, so now you can see I got them all in here. You can see where the nuts are. Now a little trick is right in here, you see where these nuts are? You can take your E6000 or epoxy, whatever you're using, and beforehand I just kind of go through, take some needle nose, reach in there, just really kind of make sure, because I kind of finger tighten them, I kind of really make sure they all, as much as I can with my finger, and then I'll take a little bit of needle nose, tighten them just whatever I can, just a little bit, and then I put glue, and I glue the threads and I just put a glob of glue over top of all these and let it set overnight, and then that way you don't have to worry about these backing off. These kind of threaded in here though, the way the hole was. So, but yeah, it's looking really good. I love that. It just really makes the saber. So I'm excited, and now we'll be able to move on to the clamp. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed part one of this tutorial. Stay tuned for the second half. It is coming up very soon.